Okay, so tonight we're going to focus on distributive property. It seems to be something that we're still struggling with a little bit from last year. So we talked a little bit about this in class. Distribute is to multiply a single term and two more terms inside a set of parentheses. So we talked in class, example, like a Red Bull distributor. Their job is to distribute Red Bull to different stores. So distribute means to give out. And basically, this is the standard equation for this. So we want to give out the A to the B and the C. And when you're giving out, you multiply. So we multiply the A times the B, and then we add it to the A times the C. So we're multiplying A by both of these. Okay. So if you look at this, we can also look at it backwards. 6 times 13. We can break 13 into any multiple that adds to 13, or excuse me, any add-ins that add to 13. So this we can also change to 6 times 10 plus 13. And if we did 6 times 10 plus 6 times 3, would we get the same number as 6 times 13? Pause the video and figure it out. We'll talk about this in class. Is this answer the same as this answer? Okay, so that's your first item for tonight, is to find out if 6 times 13 is the same thing as 6 times 10 plus 3. Okay. So equivalent expressions have the same value. So does this have the same value as multiplying 3 times 2 and 3 times 4? Okay, distributing this 3 here. And in class, we like to show it like this. And that means you're multiplying the 3 times the 2 and the 3 times the 4. That's multiplication. Okay, so if we were to add this, this would give you 8. 3 times 8, or excuse me, 6. Oops. 3 times 6 would give you 18. And if we were to do this, that would give you 6 plus 3 times 4, which is 12, and 6 times 12 is 18. So these are equivalent because they give you the same answer either way. All right, so an example of distribute is to pass out homework in every class. I picked this little video because I think it's kind of goofy. So they give you an example of going to a Halloween costume party, since Halloween is a little over a month away, and it's one of my favorite holidays. So far we have a bride is going to the Halloween party. And she brings her friend who's dressed up as a cat. So the bride and the cat come together to the Halloween party. This is an example of distributive property. Then you come in and you are dressed as a snowman. Look how cute you look. So now you come in and you want to say hi to your bride and the cat. These are two friends of yours, or at least we're saying they're friends of yours. So you are S because you're the snowman, and then this is B for bride and C for cat. Hopefully you can see that. If not, this says B plus C. Okay, bride plus cat. So now here you are as the snowman. You want to say hi to the bride and the cat. So we're going to distribute the snowman. So first the snowman's going to say hi to the bride, and the snowman's going to say hi to the cat. So in the end, if you look over here, we have S times B, the snowman said hi to the bride, plus then S times C, the snowman said hi to the cat. And then the question comes, what if another person comes in dressed up as a dragon and wants to say hello to everyone? Well, here you guys are now, S plus B, SB plus SC. So here comes the dragon. And what a cute dragon it is. So right now we have the bride, we have the cat, and we have the snowman. And this dragon wants to come say hi to the bride, hi to the cat, and hi to the snowman. So this is 3 things. This is called a trinomial. Tri meaning 3. So first the dragon says hi to the bride, D times B, plus the dragon says hi to the cat, D plus C, plus the dragon says hi to you, the snowman, D times S. Okay, replace that, D times B plus D times C plus D times S. And there's your example of distributive property. Hopefully that made more sense than less sense. Okay, so if we have this type of simple equation, of course you can add this and times by 2. But that does not work when we have variables because we don't know the value of the variable. So we're going to go over to here. Okay, so I want to simplify this. Most times when you have a problem like this, it'll ask you to simplify it, which means you want to multiply it out. So again, we have to multiply 5 times 2x. Then we bring the plus in, and then we multiply 5 times the 5. So 5 times 5. Okay? And then we just want to say 5 times 2x. Again, when we're multiplying, you do not need like terms. We just put it all together. 5 times 2 is 10, and then there's an x, and then plus 5 times 5 is 25, and that is our simplified answer. Okay, that's it. Good. Okay, so you could try this one, 3 times 2 plus 10b. So I'd like for you to do this on your own, and we will pause the video and then go over the answer. So just pause the video, try it yourself, and then we'll come back and review the answer. So hopefully you did this on your own instead of just kept watching the video. The idea of you doing it and then pausing it is for you to assess yourself. Are you understanding this? So again, we're going to distribute. So first we multiply 3 times 2. We bring this plus down. And then we multiply, we multiply 3 times 10b. Okay, so then we simplify. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3 times 10 is 30, and then there's the b, so it's 3 times 30b, and that should be your answer. So hopefully you got that right. Okay, here's a couple other problems to check. I'd like you to do all 3 of these yourself. Oops, maybe there's 4. Nope, all 4. Watch your sign on that last one. And then we'll check these in class tomorrow. So pause the video, do those 4 problems very quickly. And then the last thing I want to go over is this, because here we're multiplying variables times variables. So as we did, again, we're going to multiply here. Okay, and it helps if you write it out. That is 2x times x first. Then this is a minus, so we bring in the minus. And then we have 2x times 3. 2x times 3. Okay. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because this is what we've been working on because we've had a little bit of issues with this. Here, this is just the 1 in front of the x. So we have 2 times 1, which is 2. And then we have x times x. X times x is x squared. And that has been a big misconception for us. You guys keep wanting to put 2x. It's multiplying. X times x is 2 squared. So just remember that. That goes back to when we have an actual square. And if this is x and this is x, you multiply the area. So that means x times x, which is x squared. Another way of remembering that is, sometimes those variables just trip us up here. X just means we don't know what that value is. Let's say if we knew the value was 4 for this square, and we wanted to find the area, you would say 4 times 4. And you could write that as 4 squared, and that's why this is x squared. It's the same thing times itself. 4 times 4 is 4 squared. 5 times 5 is 5 squared. X times x is x squared. All right, and we put our minus in. Then we have 2 times 3 is 6, and then we have x. Okay, so then that is your final answer, 2x squared minus 6x. Okay, so you guys try this one on your own. Pause the video and try it. We'll check this one in class. This one, we have an x being distributed to a trinomial. It's called a trinomial because there's 1, 2, 3 terms. These are binomials. There's 1, 2. Bi means 2. Okay? So here, again, we're going to distribute the x to each one of these terms. Okay? We learned about terms today. So we're going to do x times 2x. And then we bring in our plus, because there's a plus right here. And then we do x times 3x squared. So x times 3x squared. And then we bring in our plus. And then we have x times 5. Distribute the x to the 5. Okay? And that's just a matter of multiplying out. So again, similar to above, 1 times 2 is 2. X times x, remember that's x squared. plus, this one's an x, again, 1 times 3 is 3. Now we have x times x squared. So this is 1x, this is 2x, so together we have x to the third power. Remember, the rule of exponents is you add them when you multiply variables. And then the last one is x times 5. Please do not write this. We know now, as 9th graders or math 1s, that this coefficient comes before the variable. So do not write like that. It should be 5x. We also talked today about coefficients. The coefficient here is 2, 3, and 5. Those are all coefficients to variables. Okay? And then I'd like you to try this one on your own. We'll check it in class. So you have several items that you're supposed to do on your own tonight. And then we will go over this again, this distributive property, and practice it in class. And I didn't have a fake dragon like that little kid did, but I had a little lizard. And the lizard says, bleh. Know the distributive property. Know x times x is x squared. Good night.